Coming up on Mountain News this morning, officials are looking into the amount of Tennessee children being exploited. And some of the country's biggest news outlets are pushing back on new rules that would restrict reporting at the Pentagon.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee here on this September 24th, just about 5 o'clock this morning, and time for a check of our weather with Megan Dusmal. It's been a rainy start to our fall. It's just nonstop rain, it feels like at this point, Megan.
Yeah, after that long dry period, the rain is it's not stopping, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. We still have rain all day today and tomorrow. By the time we head into Sunday, though, we're starting to calm down. Here's a look at what we've seen over the past 5 hours as that line of storms rolled through eastern Kentucky. Right now, what we're seeing is the heaviest rain is in our Virginia counties. A little bit of some storm activity in between Clay and Knox County, and then we're watching this line coming through in the next couple of minutes to an hour. That will be bringing heavy rain and some more storm chances to eastern Kentucky. Currently, we're seeing temperatures in a mixture of the upper 60s and low 70s. By the time we are heading into the afternoon, while we will still see some scattered showers and storm chances, we're looking at upper 70s and low 80s, which is on par for where we'd expect to be for this time of year. We'll see the warmest temperatures as we're heading into the afternoon around that 4 o'clock time frame. But remember, we'll see those storm chances throughout the morning and then scattered showers and storms as we're heading throughout the afternoon and evening hours. Amelia.
Hong Kong's weather service raised its storm warning to its highest level as Typhoon Ragasa barreled towards mainland China this morning. Footage posted by Instagram Threads user shows huge waves lashing Hong Kong's shoreline. According to Hong Kong Observatory, winds with average speeds of 118 kilometers per hour or more were expected to batter the region. Well, officials say children in Tennessee are being exploited at an alarming rate. Right now, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says Tennessee is investigating more than 22,000 cases involving child exploitation. It's a 140% increase compared to 2020. On average, TBI's Cybercrime and Digital Evidence Unit says they're receiving 100 cases a month, which 4 agents are assigned to investigate.
It's so important that we continue that work even as the increase comes and even as we face budget challenges, is because we stand as the only people who can get in between a sexual predator and a child.
The TBI says they hope to increase staffing levels and get legislation passed in an effort to continue to meet the demand. The man accused of trying to assassinate President Donald Trump at his Florida golf course last year was found guilty yesterday. After just 2 hours of deliberations, the jury found Ryan Routh guilty on all 5 charges. Routh represented himself in court and tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen after the verdict was read. Officers were able to intervene and stop him. Routh now faces life in prison. His sentencing is scheduled for December 18th. This morning, President Donald Trump is back at the White House after making headlines at the United Nations Tuesday. In his speech to world leaders, the president criticized the UN, questioned climate change, and touched what he considered success of his second term. The president also made a potentially game-change shift on Russia's war in Ukraine and called out the body for not helping end global conflicts.
We expect America's actions to push Russia toward peace. Moscow fears America and always pays attention to it.
All they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up.
President Donald Trump also said NATO member countries should shoot down Russian aircrafts that enter their airspace and that the UN has the potential to do so much. Well, some of the country's biggest news outlets are pushing back on new rules that would restrict reporting at the Pentagon. According to the new policy, beat reporters with a Pentagon credential will have to sign a pledge not to obtain or use unauthorized material. The New York Times, Washington Post, and the Wall Street Journal have all issued statements criticizing this policy. A new recommendation from federal lawmakers is trying to keep experienced pilots in the cockpit for a longer period of time. Senate Transportation Committee Chair Ted Cruz is urging the White House to support raising the international retirement age for pilots from 65 to 67. Some aviation unions strongly oppose the move, citing health declines and a lack of research on older pilots. We are learning new details about a potential deal to keep TikTok available in the U.S. A senior White House official says Oracle will control TikTok's algorithm for U.S. users after a deal to sell the app is made. A U.S. law is threatening to ban the app if TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, does not give up control of the app. U.S. lawmakers cited national security concerns for the law. Last night, Jimmy Kimmel made an emotional return to his namesake late-night TV show. During his monologue, the comedian says there was nothing funny about the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk and that he did not intend to blame any groups for the shooting. Kimmel also called efforts to cancel his show over his beliefs un-American. CBS's Jared Hill has more from New York.
At times emotional.
It was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man.
Jimmy Kimmel made his return to late night with a passionate defense of free speech.
I want to thank the people who don't support my show and what I believe, but support my right to share those beliefs anyway.
Last week, ABC suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live following criticism from FCC Chairman Brendan Carr and TV station ownership companies Sinclair and Nexstar over Kimmel's comments about the man charged with killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Announcing Kimmel's return, ABC called the jokes ill-timed and insensitive. Just an hour before last night's broadcast, President Trump, in a scathing post on social media, said the show had bad ratings, accused the host of being an arm of the Democratic Party, and appeared to threaten to sue ABC again, alluding to a defamation suit he settled with the network last year.
The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke.
Charlie Kirk's supporters expressed disappointment over Disney's decision.
I can't believe they're letting him back on the air.
People in the audience called the atmosphere electric.
I felt like he spoke from the heart, he was honest, and he said what we were all thinking.
But millions couldn't see the show, with Nexstar and Sinclair preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live, blocking it from nearly a quarter of American households. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Last night, Kimmel thanked the network for restoring the show, adding that he disagreed with the suspension and that he and the network had lots of discussions in the days leading up to his return. Well, the All-American 2025 class of astronaut candidates were introduced Monday during a ceremony at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. The group was selected from a pool of more than 8,000 applicants. 7 of them have current or former military experience, and a majority have an educational background in engineering. And for the first time ever, there are more women than men. And one of those women is actually from Kentucky. Lieutenant Commander Erin Overcash is one of 10 new astronauts chosen. Overcash is a North Oldham High School graduate from Goshen. One highlight in her skill set, she's an experienced FA-18E pilot, having already logged more than 1,300 flight hours inside 20 different aircraft.
I ended up submitting my application to NASA kind of on a whim, you know, like everyone who's a test pilot in the military or otherwise applies to be an astronaut. I got the call in July, and it's a really hard secret to keep. But, you know, all of a sudden it's like your life changes, and wouldn't be here alone, you know. Great support system.
She wasted little time showing her gratitude for her support system back home. Commander Overcash's astronaut training starts next week. Well, first of its kind, Regional Mental Health Crisis Center is coming to Kentucky. The new crisis intake center will be in Bowling Green. Leaders broke ground on Monday. They say it'll shift people away from overcrowded jails and emergency rooms. When complete, it'll offer 24/7 triage, crisis stabilization, and observation spaces, all for free.
For the individual that's just suffering through a crisis caused by either mental health or drug or alcohol, we need to get that individual help. Warehousing them in a jail has proven not to be successful. These are good people. They just have an addiction problem. They have a mental health problem. They have families just like you and I do. They deserve an opportunity to get better.
The state allocated $20 million to the center. Local governments are committing an additional $13 million. Well, thanks so much for getting your day started with us on Mountain News this morning at 5:09. Folks from throughout the mountains continue to remember and honor WYMT Chief Forecaster Brandon Robinson, this time at a soccer match.
And we're under a first alert weather day for heavy rainfall across eastern Kentucky. I'll have more details up next.